Hello, welcome back to On the Road Adventure. We are here taking a little break at Ewa's family in Poland. We've put in some good miles on our Teneres, about 15,000 kilometers so far. When did we get these?
End of May, I think.
So yeah, we've
May? I'm not sure.
only had them a few months anyway, so we have put good use to these bikes and they've been fantastic for us. But we have had a few qualms and little things along the way. So now we've got a break. It's time to make some adjustments.
So we have made some changes over the last few days and we'll show you that in this video. Riding this bike is amazing, especially off-road. But the main complaint we had is the seat. So we've tried reindeer skin, we've tried cool covers. It has slightly improved the situation, but you still feel like you sat on the iron board.
The cool cover does what it says on the tin. It will keep your ass cold. It will stop the rain from pooling on the seat, and in environments where there's high temperatures as well, you know, it's going to stop that seat from cooking. But what we found is it just didn't make enough difference for our comfort. So when we got to Norway, I believe it was, we managed to get hold of the reindeer skin. So we took off the cool covers so that we could add the reindeer skin. Otherwise it was a princess and a pea situation and it just got bigger and bigger, so it was no good. Now that improved comfort massively. But when it rains, the deer skin seemed to hold on the water and then, you know, just seep through your trousers. And so they were taking that on and off to find somewhere else to put it. So there's no way around it. We have to get the seat amended. The solution we've gone for is to get the seat reupholstered. We know that there's alternative seats like Sergeant seat and things like that to try to get hold of, but we just don't have the time to wait around for delivery. They take 4 to 6 weeks to be made and sent out to you and stuff, so that's no good. So we found an upholsterer here in Poland who's going to take a look at it. So on my way there, I stopped and filmed this because I want to show you in detail the original seat. Now the original seat is brilliant for off-road riding. It's thin at the front, you know, it's long, you can move around on it, but it is just really thin, and that means it's not padded, and that means a firm ride.
I wish we filmed this with only one seat done and what not done to show you actually the massive difference in thickness that there is right now compared to what it was. This seat has got at least 4 centimeters of gel pads. It's got foam on the top. This is completely new seat cover. And we didn't ask for anything to be added on the back really. There is some, but not a significant amount. As we don't really take pillions or sit at the back, so the luggage will sit here. This side, it's much thicker, much wider, so we doesn't have that pinch point, what we were getting, the sort of pain. Seat is a little bit taller, but not too much. The view from the top, as you can see now, the seat is much wider over here where you sit, and it's still very thin where your legs go, so this way you can still touch the ground, and that made an amazing difference to actually ride in this bike. And I've rode a few hours on this just to test it, and I had no pains at all.
Having this grab handle fitted to the bike was something that I requested because when you don't have luggage, there isn't very much to hold on to on the rear of the bike pushing it around. And the guy just done a fantastic job, very happy with that. And I like the sort of two-tone finish as well. We've got this sort of leather on the side and a more softer finish on the top. Overall now, we are feeling much more optimistic about putting in the long days on this bike. We haven't had much of a chance to try it out, only really riding it back from the guy, but I'm so happy sitting on it. It just feels worlds apart from the previous seat. So that guy's done a great job.
It wasn't really expensive. I think each seat worked out, everything stripped from it, and every gel component, all of the foam and all of the material and all the job, everything was just over £100 per seat.
We're very happy.
I think it's not that much actually.
Yeah, a new seat costs you 4 times that at least. So with the bikes now clean, I was having a look at them and I noticed that Ewa's disc for the brake is discoloured compared to mine. And then that got us thinking, when we were travelling, Ewa's brake pads wore away much quicker than mine. So I think that there may be a problem with her rear disc or caliper. So just for reference, this one's mine and you can see, I don't know if you can see the pads still in there, but yeah, that's still in the original pads. Changing the pads is one of my next jobs, but that's the disc. And this one is Ewa's disc, and as you can see, this one has become discoloured. I suspect probably through generating heat, and my guess is that the brake is staying engaged when she's taking her foot off. It's possible this part of the caliper moves on a slider here, and perhaps this needs re-greasing or something. Well, being that the bikes are still under warranty and there's a lot of Yamaha dealers near where we are, we gave one a call, and as always with Yamaha, so helpful. Yeah, no problem, bring it down, we'll have a look. If something needs doing, you know, we'll get it booked in. So me and Eva are going to jump on the bikes, we'll take it down to Yamaha and let them have a look, see what they make of it.
We are here in Poznan in Yamaha's Morawiecki service, and the guys here have been absolutely brilliant with my bike. They took it apart, they had a look, they had 2 mechanics to look at it just to make sure it's all good and safe to go for me. Piston, caliper, everything's moving freely, all freshly lubricated. We put new pads on recently, so we can't explain the discoloration in the disc for now, but we'll see how it goes. And it'll be interesting to see, because I'm going to put new pads on my bike, whether yours gets through them any quicker than mine. We'll see as we go on. We'll keep an eye, but for now,
safe and good.
Yeah, I have that peace of mind that it's all safe to go.
Well, as you know, we did Eva's brake pads. They needed doing desperately, so I'm going to just drop mine out, have a look, check them. I might replace them anyway. I have been to Yamaha and I've bought us new brake pads all round for both bikes, so it's not a problem that we have again. We've got them with us. Right, let's have a look. Oh yeah, there's loads left on them. There's loads left on that one.
Not like mine.
I think I'm going to put that back, which is astounding because Eva's was down to the metal in 6,000 miles. So I'm happy that the brake pads are good on mine. They're going to last another 50% longer already. So
I am very disappointed that my brake pads didn't last very long, and more than anything, I just, you know, it's that sense of, oh, I don't think I've been riding on the brakes the whole time. I hardly ever use that.
I would have noticed anyway on the
I'm
brake light. I'm
convinced, you know, there's something...
Something's different. Now, I have noticed that there's something different. Now, Yamaha did look over Eva's bike. Everything's fine, no problem, you're on your way. It's all working fine, yeah. But I have noticed, well, I'll show you. This is my Brembo caliper, which is silver in colour, and my disc there, which is looking normal. And this is Eva's Brembo caliper, which you'll notice is different. This one's gold, and if we take a closer look at the disc, we can see it's become discoloured, which is what brought our attention to it in the first place.
Well, as long as all is good, then I'm happy to ride it, but we'll keep an eye on it, definitely. And
I'm curious more than anything.
Yeah, once it's in your head, you just want to keep looking at it. You know, at first I thought, okay, I just got a bit of rust there. It turns out it's not rust, it's just some discoloration, probably due to heat, maybe.
Do us a favour, if you've got a Tenere out in your garage, can you go out, have a look and tell us what colour your rear caliper is, and let me know if you've got any discoloration in your disc as well, but also importantly the year of your Tenere, because I'm wondering whether our Teneres were so early, we had pre-ordered them, that one of us has a caliper off a 24 bike and one has a 25. I'm not sure.
They still should be fine, but who knows? If you've got any ideas, let us know.
Something we've found with these Teneres while we've been travelling is chain maintenance. It's been a huge problem for us because you need to carry a chain spray for degreasing, a chain spray for lubricating, then I like to have a brush and, you know, some cloths and different things, and it's just a lot of stuff to carry. And so that means then I was carrying smaller amounts of it, but then we've got to find it on the road all the time, and it just became a huge problem with the miles that we're doing. So an easy solution to this is automatic chain oilers. Now, I've had one in the past 10, 15 years ago, and it made a right old mess, I'll be honest with you, and that's why I never bothered with it. But things have come a long way now. So there's, you know, adjustable ones and electronic ones. Now, when you think automatic chain oiling systems, there's only one brand, and that is Scott Oiler. A lot of you guys recommended this brand to me. I was already aware of it. They're market leaders, and they have now this electronic one. This is the X system, and it comes and you can connect it to an app to adjust it, and so you haven't even got to get to the unit and different things. Now, Scott Oiler have been kind enough to send me and Eva each one of these, so we're going to fit these to our bikes, and I am very optimistic that these are just going to make our life so much easier. Let's see what we get in the box. So this is clearly the main unit. So this is a reservoir, it's going to hold the oil in it, and the electronic gizmo hopefully is going to drop the oil at a constant and small flow onto the chain, directly onto the rear sprocket where we want it. So that'll be good. We got some instructions, which of course no man is ever going to look at. Take this card out of the way. So we've got the main unit, and that is connected to a simple battery terminal. So we've got obviously your positive and your negative, and there's an inline fuse there as well. So that is pretty straightforward. Wire that straight to the battery. We've got 2 bottles of Scott Oiler's all climate chain oiler. That should last a little while. This little tube is used to fill up the main reservoir, and this is what will be feeding the oil from the reservoir down through the bike and directly onto the chain and sprockets. Sticker, because no product worth its name comes without a sticker. In here we've got a few fixings and things, so we're going to use these fixings with 3M to hide the tube on the bike so it can be seen as little as possible and secure it in place. And of course, to assist with that, cable ties. No installation is complete without a couple of new cable ties. So it does say that it is best to mount this thing vertically, and my assumption is that is because you're going to get the best use of the oil inside if it's vertical. However, because of the bags that we use on this bike and our big clumsy boots and things, I haven't found a good place to put it on this one where it's not going to be vulnerable vertically. So I am going to mount it horizontally underneath the seat. One suggested option for the Tenere is to mount this one here, which would work, but both me and Eva wear big motocross boots, and I'm pretty confident that standing up, I think we're going to be touching that and knocking it around, so I don't think that's a good option for us. Another suggestion has actually been up on this bit of frame here, but obviously we've got crash bars fitted to our bike, so that's not an option either for me. So I found this to be a pretty good space, and when the seat's on, that's going to hold that in place reasonably well. Perhaps I'll whack a cable tie or something around here and just hold that in place, but that should fit. So I can run these cables directly to the battery, and then I can run the feeder pipe down underneath through the bike and then out to the sprocket. Well, firstly, before I wire this up, I'm just going to check there's a fuse in there. There is. So this will be different for each bike, but obviously we just need to get to the battery. Nice and simple on the Tenere. So a nice simple job. We're going to connect the red to the positive and the black to the negative. I meant to point out earlier on when I was taking the bits out of the box, there was this bag full of fixings, and it would be easy to tip those fixings out and throw this bag away, but taped to the bag on the outside is this small but very important part. You don't want to lose that. So this small part is the nipple that connects the bottom of the oiler to the tube that's going to feed the oil down to the sprocket. So I've got the feed tube running down through here and just dropping out the bottom of the bike. So the next challenge is, which will be different for every bike, is getting this feed tube to the rear wheel so that it can drop the oil on. Now, they supply various stick-on mounts, which you'll need, and some isopropyl wipes. So if you expect these stick-ons to work, make sure your bike is properly clean. So there you can see the feed coming down from the top of the bike, and I've attached it there to the suspension, and then it comes down behind here. And then we've got this assembly on the end with this little straw, which hopefully will drop the oil in. So the only thing we're missing now is getting some oil. All right, so we've got this tube here for filling it up. If you lose this tube, you can just pull this rubber bung out, but we'll use it, we got it. So we'll put that one in there. So we're just gonna fill this tube, push the prime button, and hopefully we're gonna start to see the oil disappear from in here and go down and fill that tube all the way down to the sprocket. There we go, we can see the oil dripping down through now, so I can turn off the priming and it's there ready to be used. So the basic principles of this is that it has 15 settings and you can cipher through the settings up and down. So you can see that's flashing twice. So if you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when it flashes once, and then when it flashes twice, it'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it'll flash 3 times once you've gone through. I am going to leave this in the middle. That's the middle setting for now, and then I'll assess whether I'm getting too much oil or not enough oil on the chain and sprockets. So as I say, there is an app for this, which is really convenient because times when you might put your bike on a ferry, for example, the bike will be moving, but the chain and sprockets are not going round, and therefore it's going to drop oil and you come back to a small puddle of oil. But you could use the app instead of taking the seat and your luggage off to adjust the setting or simply turn it off until you come back to your bike. Well, there you go. Scott Oiler X system. That took me about 10 minutes, maybe, something like that, to install it. So we're excited to see how we get on now over the next few thousand miles. I can save some space in the luggage. I can ditch the cans of lubricant and cleaner and chain brushes and all the rest of it. And yeah, hopefully this thing's going to make sure we've got a nice, wet, happy chain. What we'll do, if I can find the link for you, I'll pop that in the description for you below so you can find one for yourself if you want one. Well, with all those jobs done and, you know, the bike now we know is safe, all serviced, everything's looking good, all there is left to do is throw the luggage back on and get back on the road, which I'm very much looking forward to.
To be fair, I cannot wait to be on the road.
I can't sit still for any more than a few days.
You know, you get comfortable for a few days, but I'm happy to go now. So we'll see you on the road in the next episode.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.